Be ready.
Okay, yes. You ready? I'm going to open the, call the meeting to order for the Wolcott Select Board, November 2nd, 2022 at 6 p.m. Amendments to the agenda. The only thing I have is, we need to authorize Belinda to sign the mortgage discharge for the Hyde Park Wolcott, funds that we received through Sterling. We can put that, under select board. I also have here, it's not on the agenda, but I want to remind you, authorize signing the municipal resolution for the planning grant last week, and I will pass this around, for signatures to be able to submit that grant. Anything else?
Well, I don't know if this should be under select board review, but I had some concerns about a couple of. They're right next door neighbors in North Wolcott that have more than one junk car in their yard, one of them sinking into the ground.
Okay.
I don't know where you want to put that.
We can put that under select board review.
This be where the cow lives?
What's that?
Could this be where the cow lives?
No, right in North Wolcott, downtown North Wolcott.
It's the Woken School. So I will, if there's no other amendments to the agenda, I'll take a motion to approve the minutes of October 19th. We have a second.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Are there any corrections, deletions, additions? It looks good to me. Hearing none, then all in favor, say aye. Opposed, so carried. Comments from the community? We have anyone on that has any comments? No, then we'll quickly, I think if you don't mind, can we move correspondence down into the select board section, seeing as we have some people waiting? Cornelius, you're here about the cemetery. Commissioner's budget. The upcoming meeting.
Okay, just everybody knows me from the history and from the cemetery commission. And we would like to request $11,000. Same thing that we did last year for the moment.
Do you have any questions of Cornelius while he's there?
Is there, are we in contract with somebody from?
Yes.
Yes. And this, excuse me, it was a 3-year,
Good,
and this is the last year.
okay. So
Sure.
next year we'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hearing no questions, thank you. We will submit that. Our budget.
Thank you.
Welcome. So we received an email from the Athletic Association. I made a copy on your tables. They are asking to be level funded again for $1,500.
Well, they haven't requested it this year. Did she indicate in there when they were going to?
No, just the Wolcott Athletic Association would like to respectfully request that we be level funded with an appropriation of 15 for upcoming year. Our numbers are beginning to rise. We have 3 teams last year and likely to have 4 this coming year. The regular supplies we need have gone up in price, and additionally, we're also attempting to use a grant to assist in the cost of programs. Youth involvement in sports keeps them out of trouble. We keep the price as low as possible and rely on the town to help with those costs. So we have that. We don't, at this point, have anything from the recreation committee.
Right.
So we'll just have to hold off on that one.
There's been no expenditure to date.
So that brings us to the town forest. Kate Warner's here and Kip Bruner. Hi, Kate.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I want to give you kind of a rough update of where we are, and then specifically talk to you briefly about the potential for an affordable house lot to be associated with this project. I'm not sure kind of how much Linda has been updating you over time, but the Bourne property now is fully under contract, under option agreement with Trust Republic Land. So we have 18 months option term to close. We are hoping to close before 18 months. Likely it'll happen December of 2023, or if we are lucky with some of our funding sources, possibly next summer. We've completed a full ecological analysis over on the Bourne property as of last week, and we'll be taking the results to Vermont Department of Environmental Conservation to see if they would still be interested in funding this part of the project with Clean Water State Revolving Funds. If not, then we'll be applying in partnership with the town for the Federal Community Forest Program funds, which Trust Republic Land has been successful at a number of times for different community forests around Vermont. And that can fund up to half of the whole project cost. So that would cover all the capital for the acquisition. About a month and a half ago, we secured $563,000 from the Vermont Housing and Conservation Board for funds to acquire the Bedell property. But the requirements were that it was part of the full 706 acre forest. So we aren't able to close with those funds until we also close on the Bourne property. And it also, one of the requirements was that we incorporate an affordable housing lot into the larger project. We've also secured $55,000 of private funds to date, as in addition to the $197,000 VOREC grant for the recreation trail planning. You may, hopefully some of you were able to join the meeting last week with Mariah, who talked to the community about the potential trail building. I was supposed to make it. I was stuck down in southern Vermont on a different property out in the woods, and I'm sorry I wasn't able to make it all the way up. We had a very good response to the community survey with over 139 responses. Those are being collated and summarized, and I will get you a copy if you haven't seen one yet. And then lastly, we are partnering with Will County Habitat for Humanity on potentially a duplex right on Route 15 on the site where there used to be a mobile home, and there's a curb cut and a private drive right now. This won't be at any cost to the town, and actually we'll be adding 2 tax-paying families back to the grand list. So you'll benefit by some additional property taxes. Kip Werner is here from Lamoille County Habitat for Humanity, and he can speak to any specific questions about how they work, but it will be permanently affordable. So there will be a deed restriction on the property so that when the first families do end up selling, it will be sold at a permanently affordable price so that it will always be available to families in need. I'm happy to share my screen to show you the map. Oh, nope, I can't. Try again.
Yep, there we go.
Okay, so here is an aerial. Can you see that?
Yeah,
Close up on Route 15. You can see kind of the old driveway and kind of the open area, and then also the houses, you know, to the northwest and the southeast, and walkable to school. And this also was a place where the fire department burnt down a former mobile home there. So it actually has a recognized environmental condition on it. So we're gonna follow up with additional soil tests and potentially some soil remediation there. So that, and we're connected with Lamoille County Regional Planning Commission to try and secure some brownfields grants to be able to do that. So are there any kind of specific questions about any of the update or specific to the affordable house, which Kip might be able to answer? Well, great. We've made a lot of progress so far. And I know it's slow going. I know a lot of people want to see that property owned right now, but we will get there. We've made a lot of progress, and we've made a lot of new partnerships too. So,
just a quick question that I should know this, but the property for the affordable housing, is the town owns that currently?
no, so that's still owned by Rhoda Bedell.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Trust for Public Land will work with her to put together a subdivision application and subdivide that parcel off, and then have her donate the parcel directly to Habitat for Humanity. So it doesn't have to kind of go through the town, which could
Okay.
involve a lot of extra stuff that you don't want to deal with.
So it's a carve out of the Bedell purchased property. Okay, got it.
I wondered if Kip could just introduce himself so we know we'll probably be working a little bit in partnership with him. Sure.
Yeah, well, certainly. My name's Kip Werner. I'm the interim president of the Lamoille chapter of Habitat for Humanity. Our parent chapter is Green Mountain Habitat for Humanity, and they work with 3 counties, including Lamoille County. And we have just recently completed a build in Morrisville for a family of 5. And we are getting ready to break ground on another property in Morrisville. But the timing on when it looks like this property would be available would be very nice. We partner with the family who contributes a set amount of hours of sweat equity into the build, and then volunteers who work on the job site. One of our largest volunteers is the students at the Green Mountain Tech Center. We have them come in, and as part of their teaching and training, they come out there and do quite a bit of work: electrical, HVAC, construction. So it's a great opportunity for the school to interact and contribute and get on the job training. So it's been a great relationship, and we've try to get as many people in the community involved. It's a wonderful organization. affordable housing is so important everywhere, and certainly in Vermont. And I look forward to working with you.
Yes, thank you.
So not being familiar with the program, it's volunteer labor, and materials come from where?
Some of them are donated, some are provided, at a discount or a cost. In the end, the family pays the cost of the house. So anything we can have, donated or, done at a discount, makes it that much more affordable. So a lot of the local lumber yards, RK Miles, plumbing suppliers work with us and, provide discounts. A lot of skilled trades people will come in and volunteer their time, provide, things at cost to us. So, yeah, I don't know that we ever pay retail for anything other than, paper towels.
Okay, great.
So, Kate, is there anything more the select board should be doing, to help you at all?
Not right now. I'm gonna check back with the planning commission, because they were gonna look into the permits needed for the trail on the school property and connecting to the rec field. And I haven't heard anything from them recently, so I want to check to see if they've made any progress on that. But the VORIC timeline for all the trail builds did get pushed off because the grant agreement didn't get signed until just this week. So we have until the end of 2024 to spend all the money and all the construction of the trails, both on the school property, the town property, and the community forest. So that does give us 2 full field seasons coming up. So I'm not too worried, but otherwise, I don't need anything from the select board. If we do apply for the federal community forest program, that will be the town who is the applicant. So we will need to partner with you on that when the time comes in a couple months. But I'll do all the
For all
work.
your hard work.
Thank you.
Oh, and also thank you for connecting us with Seth Jensen. He was able to scrounge up a $5,000 grant from the Lamoille Realtors Association to go towards the some of the costs with the affordable house. So it was broad to get that connection. So thank you.
Yeah, and also he is going to take a look at some of the housing plans and in a broader scope, make sure it fits into the village architecture. So that was another thing he was going to work on. So that's nice.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Project managers report.
Yeah, so we have a lot of handyman activity going on before it snows. Nathan has worked on rebuilding the tire corral up at the transfer station.
It's looking good. I was up there last week.
Yeah. And he's going to be working on the chain and fence up there as well. Works on library fixtures, vent cleaning at the town hall. He's done all the scheduling for fire extinguishers and heater inspections. Patched a few library holes here and there. And the garage painting is now complete. It looks pretty good.
Does it?
Looks pretty good.
I'll take a look.
Yeah, he's a perfectionist. It looks really good considering what it looked like. And he's also working with Tom a little bit today, getting items out of the old schoolhouse before the founders tour coming up this Friday. So you probably noticed all the junk out in front of the schoolhouse, and that's going to be picked up tomorrow. Taken to All Metals. The windows and the doors are going to stay there. We're going to put them up for free on Front Porch Forum. So anybody wants to take them away, it'll be the town's own free pile. And but all the metal is what's going to go over All Metals tomorrow. Just for other with the road crew, Dylan tested positive for COVID this morning. So he is out for the next 5 days in isolation. But it seems that everything, a lot of grading has taken place. So we're in pretty good shape there. A little concerned over the salt. We did finally get a price on the salt that I was going to double check with Dylan today, but I missed him. But the other concern about salt is the potential railroad strike, and that directly affects salt delivery to Vermont. So once I get a chance to talk to Dylan again, we may want to consider pre-buying some of that salt just as a hedge.
Yeah.
Transfer station, the help see bins are up there. Michelle went up, this last weekend and kind of kicked it off and helped people understand how to use it. It was announced on Front Porch Forum. It got a very, very strong result right away. Silvio seems to think that at least one of those bins is already full. And so we're working with the Help See people to understand what their pickup schedule is going to be. Which the unfortunate thing about these things is you can't see inside.
Yes.
In their padlock. So it's hard to tell what's in. There was some questions if the transfer station would be open for residents of other towns to use it for textile recycling, and that has propped up a lot of attention from some of our surrounding towns. It is a revenue base for us. So I think from a business perspective, it is assuming they're going to bring their trash with them too. It's a bump. It's a good.
Now, we don't charge the Golden Recycling Job.
But we get paid for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Silvio will have to keep an eye on people trying to put stuff in it that's sat out on their lawn all summer and is garbage.
Yeah.
I sometimes get very discouraged with the human nature about these things.
Yeah.
So it's another thing for him to keep an eye on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the clothes, the textiles have to be clean and they have to be in plastic bags. And so we're going to start an education campaign on Front Porch Forum. Try that.
Wonder if clear plastic bags would help Sylvia's side of that.
I think we left bags up there. So if Silvio has a customer that has textiles and not bagged, we have bags right there for them to bag it. So as mentioned earlier, we're cleaning out the schoolhouse. So the funders meeting is this Friday at 10 o'clock. I'll be there, Tom will be there, and LCPC. Pardon me?
I'll be here too.
Oh, you will? Great, okay. For the annual report staging, kind of devised a list of what I believe we need and when we need it. But I'm curious, is there a checklist, a schedule Or,
like a timeline?
yeah,
No, but I could put one together.
that would be great.
I think the number one thing is to reach out to whoever prints it, I forget.
Mary Dearborn.
That's
Legal
number
reference.
one, to reach out to them, get a quote, get on the list. Last year, we got on the list before the date that people could submit a petition for social services. It made me very nervous. So that's like something we have to make sure doesn't happen. Because it's a state statute where people, if anyone wants to submit a petition for town meeting, it's a deadline date. So I'll put together a timeline this weekend.
Thank you.
For when it has to be out.
Great.
And also, we should, set a timeline for when all people's reports are due and.
Right.
All right.
Thank you. This will come up in correspondence, but again, just back to the transfer station, we did get a letter of price increase from Black Dirt Farm. And I think we can go over it more in correspondence, but it's getting to be pretty expensive. I mean, we're going to really have to look at how we can manage compost better than what we're doing now.
What were they charging currently?
$20,
A total.
and now it's 24.
That's for those.
And they're picking it up quite a lot.
Well, that was my concern. Whether they're really full. Do you want to talk about it now or?
Yeah, we can talk.
You might as well talk about it.
Yeah,
now.
I think the key that we discussed before, and I think I just have to physically go on the weekend and pull one of those totes back into the corral.
Or chain and lock the other one so they can't put anything in it.
So you just have one.
Yeah, even if you have two, if they can't get into the other one,
Right. That's
it
it.
gives you the flow control. And, Sylvia will have to be more on it. Because
Won't be that hard. I mean, we probably won't be having beer problems, will we?
No, I think we can actually take down their solar panels at this point.
And that won't really, that stuff doesn't compress well either. I don't think it's so wet. Will become so as it's aging and barrel, you might say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we can get those really full before they go, it might make a difference.
And I think he needs a little education on understanding that we're losing, it's costing us money, and he has to be more conscious of that for the town.
Is he good about applying the sawdust?
Yes, he is.
Okay, good.
And I'm just wondering, if putting too much in.
Well, you don't need a whole lot.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that fills it up, so.
Yeah, it's an education process, but. Because I can't see us raising our prices. Yet. I mean, what are we charging for a tote at this point for whatever bucket of?
$1 for 5 gallons. And that's what the solid waste charges too.
That's a lot. I give him $1 every time I go, and it's just.
Wait, thank you. We have our own compost.
Yeah.
But. No, my concern is we just shouldn't raise the price until we absolutely have to, because. We'll discourage some people from participating, and we're required to participate. We are,
Yes.
we're required, and. We know it's an unending battle. With costs.
Now, are there any other options out there besides Black Dirt Farm? So that was another thought I had. I know you could take it to the solid waste district, but then that's a matter of trucking. Is that cost effective? I don't know if there was anything else.
Yeah, I looked into that. There are quite a number of places to deposit it. But as far as services that go, we'll pick it up, I couldn't find.
Now, you said we have an electric fence. Is that a solar one?
Yeah.
Could we purchase a tumbler? And then do our own?
You have to be certified by the state. You mean our own compost?
And then the tumbler isn't gonna work very well in the dead of winter. I mean, you're gonna, it's, I'm not being a wise ass, but it's just, when it gets really cold.
I think the law is that you have to send it to a certified, organization, by the state for composting.
Well, you mentioned the solid waste district, are they up and running with their cardboard? Are they gonna start taking our corrugated?
The stove? No, it's not up and running yet.
Just curious, sorry to interrupt.
And they're saying with glass, they're not.
Right, yeah.
That would cut down the law.
Yeah. And we're, the bottle and can depository is doing extremely well. That thing is full.
Yeah, Sylvia mentioned to me that it was, what's in there now is gonna be about $1,000.
Yeah,
As long as the place doesn't get attacked.
I think that's,
Well, at this point, it's felony level.
I hope those people moved away.
Really, it's a felony offense at this level.
yeah. It's certainly a lot of money in it, so. But we haven't had a problem ever since we changed the locks and then we welded down the gate.
That helps, yes.
So are you going to talk to Sylvia?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
You'll go up there and
I'll go.
kind of educate them?
This weekend, yes. And,
Thank you. I think we should try that and then, revisit it in a few months and see how.
yeah, I'm curious, so Belinda, we call in the roll-offs and so forth when they're full. But we don't, collector doesn't do it that way.
No, they come every week unless we call them and tell them not to come. And we could do that.
Could do that, yeah.
Could you try to get them to schedule to every other week?
Well, we tried that, but then during the summer, it became so, it was used so much that we had to come back to doing. Because Silvio kept telling me, it's full, I need somebody to come, so I would call.
That was recycling you're talking about?
Yeah,
No.
compost station.
Compost.
So how is it gonna be less in the winter? What are people gonna do with it?
I don't know. Maybe it can sit longer because it doesn't get as stinky. You
Yeah, I think that's how it all goes back to,
Then it becomes a problem getting it out of your mail.
Yeah, that's the hard.
I think it all comes down to controlling those bins. Lock one up, so the other one's full. Yeah.
know, right. I agree.
And my last thing is, we are keeping our eye on a, employee COVID paid leave grant. Paid leave grant rather. And this is where, this is a grant which will, reimburse the town for employees that had to isolate, or were out of work due to COVID. Great. And we've had it. I mean, Chan was out, and now Dylan is out. So, the grant is not available right now due to technical difficulties. So, gotta keep a really close eye on it because it's a first come, first served.
Now, is that through the state or feds?
is through the state. That's it.
Thank you.
For the masking and so forth, and they're within the confines of the building, or
You mean over the garage? They have not been, no.
I think we should.
Never have. They never have.
I think they should.
Compliance. I mean,
I'm afraid pretty soon we're gonna have to start doing that here.
they could
Well, if
have-
somebody's sick, we do have them do it, like Edie wore a mask the last 2 days because she had a little cold.
Yeah, but I mean, just even people coming in.
Yeah,
Let me get through the election, please.
it could turn again, you're right.
Yeah. Good.
So can we, put on here that we'll revisit the, composting in January?
Yep.
Just so it doesn't fall. Perhaps. All right, so the correspondence, we have, notice of an animal bite. Accidental. We just need to say we received that.
I think that took place in Johnson. I think the reason we got it in the hospital is because the dog owner.
Right. The other thing we received was the profit and loss. The transfer station and the town. I asked Melinda to quickly go through and tell us, because we don't have time to really review it at the meeting, but maybe pinpoint some areas that she has of concern, and then you can look at this at home.
So there's really no concern for the town. We're right on budget. Everything seems to be going good. There's no shortfalls or anything in any place. Transfer station is always a cause for concern. Tires and poking with the new tire rate that they improved, because we've only taken in about 700, but we've spent 1,800. So that's a major concern.
And this is for the year to date, I think.
Right.
Everything else is on track. He has help again. Like you said, we made 37% of what we thought we would make for the year, so, you know, we're not bad. It's just, I don't know why tires are like that. And I think, I'm going to have to keep track of what he's charging. I think I'll just have to keep a better eye. Because even with a new list, maybe he's not going to 17, well, you know what I mean? Even I have to look, I might have to measure it, to be honest. Under 17, you know, it's like, what, 15, and then over 17 is, you know, the 18s and stuff. But I mean, truck tires you can have. And but the last time we had tires picked up, it was $948. So.
Is the price increase actually going to offset?
Yes,
It will.
once it is charged correctly, it will.
So you think the problem is eyeballing these things and charging them around?
I would love to somehow or other get pictures for him that shows a 14 and a 17, or you know what I'm saying? Maybe that's what we should do.
You need more education on some of this
Well,
stuff.
I think he needs to know this is a 14, this is 17, you know, not, he's eyeballing right now. So unless you get like up close and personal, you might think they're the same tire. Not truck tires and stuff, but I mean. And if it has a rim, maybe he's not charging for that too, but we are getting charged for that.
Well, it sounds like a situation we have to charge the right amount in order for us to have
Yes.
any chance of.
And I just want to say it's just a cautionary thing that. Maybe, I don't know, solid waste district would be able to come up and give him pointers about that. I don't know. It's not a discussion I've had with him.
Okay.
So,
I've seen here, and I recollect that we did this, but we have in here the litter committee, budgeted 2,700.
Yeah.
So that's money that,
so we just got 25 bags. I will charge that to it off the, you know what I'm saying? When it goes to pay for it, I pay for it, I'll put it under that.
okay. So I was just thinking, you know, we added that last year. I remember I recommended that. Because we're doing well. Just asking whether in the upcoming budget, whether maybe not having it there in the transfer station if we're not doing as well. That's all, consideration, thinking, you know, should it have a line item in the select board's budget versus being in here? Would it help our cash flow better?
So it helped the profitability of the transfer
Yeah.
station, yes, but it would.
So I think maybe consideration when we do our budget. Because at one point we had like $14,000 in our cash flow when I left as town clerk. I mean, so we're like, we've really gone down in the transfer station.
That's transportation, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We may have to raise prices more, not that I.
Well, I think it's more, look at our business model, you know?
Well, the Chinese, we were recycling was pretty cheap,
Yeah.
and then it went
Yeah.
up.
Oh, yeah.
drastically.
And so then our hauling
Yeah.
costs have gone up, and garbage. I know it's all gone up, but I'm just thinking that maybe putting that in the regular budget would help with the transfer station next year.
It's a good idea.
Okay. Moving on to the select board's review and action, so this, we need to authorize, Belinda to be able to sign this mortgage discharge because it says duly authorized agent. It's just a matter of a motion. You know, understand what this is? From the Sterling view, it's the last loan that we had, and it's gonna close it out. The person paid $12,000. We get 1/3 of that. When we get that check in a couple weeks, we'll decide that money, but
And they also had left $5,000 in it, so it was like 17,000 will be split. Because Sterling is owned by the owner.
well, could we have a motion to authorize Belinda to sign the mortgage discharge for Marilyn so far?
I'll make that motion.
Need any further discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
And then after we get the money, you guys will have to decide where it goes.
All right,
Literally.
Yeah.
sheriff's budget, communication budget. You have it in your packet. We had a discussion last time about the sheriff's budget. And we agreed not to take ARPA funds, to offset their $60,000 shortfall. We met again with them. And so it would raise, by doing that, to make up the difference, it would raise the sheriff's budget 8%.
Right.
Can I ask how they incur a shortfall?
It isn't a shortfall, it's costs are going up. He was hoping to keep towns at 3%, which we've been for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
We're at the end. We don't have an agreement with them to keep it at 3%. So now it would.
Go up to 8.
And he's been eating some of the cost over the years.
Am I right in that Eden gets coverage for Wolcott? They're not paying? Eden? I think
Eden gets, if they go up to Eden and call them up, they pay by the hour.
right.
Elmore's the one that has control. They pay about 20 grand a year for control.
Yeah, Eaton is. I think they're coming around to the point where they are going to have to contract with the sheriff. I know that they've been in those discussions. It would help all of us a great deal because
Yes,
if Eden does join, then it opens up an opportunity to get another deputy, which is desperately needed because of the low staffing. Sometimes deputies are on duty by themselves, no backup and so on.
yeah. That's not good.
That's not good.
Touchy situation. No.
So I think it makes a big difference. I mean, my thought on this is that you got a 3% locked in, 3% per year, yet costs rise. And so it creates a bubble. 3, now here's the bubble. And that's why the 8%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So the 8% is just to maintain what we have now, not to
nothing.
get another deputy.
But what it does is it compensates for the past 2 years of being at 3%.
Yeah.
And so what will happen at that point is that your average will start to mediate itself. It won't sharply go up again. It just will. So it's a bubble, and I just think the problem with the ARPA is you're pushing the bucket down the road.
But there's no guarantee that it won't be another 8% next year.
No, nothing's guaranteed.
Yeah, so he hasn't made a deal like he did before with only 3%.
No.
Okay.
He does want an extended agreement or contract. When I asked him, he didn't have any particulars to present. Or what that would be, and I agree with her, just keeping it at the 3 doesn't really help you. Looks good, then at the end, it doesn't. The other thing I was thinking about, that if we keep saying we're gonna work on the contract. But I was thinking when we had a discussion with them, so Eden, they have been going up to Eden a bit recently, and Eden is paying. I asked where that money went. I would like to see it come back and put in a special fund that then could offset any increases in future years against the towns. because they're taking away the time. He couldn't really answer me that either, where that money, I believe it belongs to us.
Yeah,
Right, if that deputy's in Eden, then it's not, they're not doing the patrolling or what we need them to do.
But his money shouldn't go back into the general fund of the sheriff's department. And I think we do have time to add that in.
It's a good thought. It's a good thought.
yeah. I'm sure it is going into their general.
Yes,
Yeah. The reason he couldn't answer is because he didn't like it.
I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. We've had, what, 2 or 3 discussions on this, and it doesn't really go anywhere. I guess it's really up to the voters. Unless anyone else has a recommendation.
Are you guys gonna put it into a budget this year again, or put it as a separate article because of the 8%?
Probably in the regular, but I guess that could be up to discussion when we have our select boards budget time.
Well, what we did, we took it out of. We put it into essential services as a separate article.
One, a separate line item. We got scolded for keeping it out of the
It's in for the
Select board.
ambulance now and stuff.
select board for having it a special warrant article. We got it both ways. People weren't happy that wasn't separate.
Yeah,
People weren't happy that. So think about it when we do our select board budget, whether you want it as a separate warrant article again, or you want it in select boards.
right.
And did dispatch go off too?
Mhm.
They did, okay.
That went up, 7.04%. I mean, they're just like everybody else. They're facing increased costs everywhere. They took the 11.7 Blue Cross hit. Yeah,
They said their costs went up mostly due to staffing.
I would think fuel personally is an awful increase in gasoline prices.
yeah. He often talks about the fuel project that he initiated several years ago. Because they have their own fuel station. And yeah, and they buy wholesale. Huge amounts of fuel. So it's right behind it's where the sheriff's department garage is. It's basically their own private gas station.
I'd like to try.
But over the years, it's saved a heck of a lot.
That's good.
So there's I don't know when it hasn't been scheduled, a short Zoom meeting to come all the time, 3 times come back and report, for each board decide if there's any comments. Bring back. You're all welcome to attend these meetings.
Johnson and Hyde Park seem open to the percentage that it was raised.
Well, we didn't really get to that point. The main thing was discussing ARPA, and I know Johnson was totally against that. for the same reasons that we were creating this up and down and up and down and up and down. And that's really not, in my mind, the best use of ARPA funds. We just supposed to bring everything back to each board and then we'll have a quick meeting to report back. If not, I guess I will tell them there isn't, unless you think of something, you can call Kurt or myself.
I think it's a community, it is what it is.
Yeah,
If you look at their expenditures, you just read them everything, it's not a neat to see things.
yeah, we did go line by line in the first meeting, looking at that. Let's move on to the state ARPA wastewater grant. I'm not sure if you're aware that, the town of Wolcott received a village ARPA grant for, the wastewater of $2,565,000. And, I think the governor just put out a press release. We had to wait for that, for the grant. Within 3 to 6 months, we should be getting a, grant agreement. There are strings attached, this quarterly reporting. So they will pay this is through the state, they'll pay 90% of the total project costs. And 10% will come through the town, but they also allow that to be from other grants. The deadline to spend that money is December 26th. 2024, it's ARPA.
So the town's portion would be around 200,000?
256,000.
200,000.
If we pay personally, but we can try to find other grants for that. Or some of it.
But it doesn't have to be our funds.
No, and I'm not sure
If that would qualify.
right. It's like the state has revolving funds through the legislature, and this other funding.
Is there wastewater grants out there?
Well, that's one.
Well, no, I mean, federal, but I mean, state. And
Well, this is our state ARPA funds. The other part is that I asked them when the appropriate time was to go to the voters. They didn't think it was yet, but at some point we do need to go to the voters about it. Of moving forward or not.
so once we say we accepted the grant, we did this, we have a spot, we're gonna put the wastewater, it's for the Wolcott Village, right? People who hook on would pay an amount to the town, or this would be all free?
No, and all the weeds, I haven't been, all the details are not figured out. One of the things recommended is that if people hooked up at the time that the line was going through, that the town would pay for that. This is only for wastewater. Each family would still keep their tank, you know, for the heavier solid stuff. It all needs to be worked out. Part of this whole thing is the next step in engineering. So the goal is to do some of the village. Come over the School Street Bridge, which they've agreed to, that it'll probably be on one of the sides. Run down School Street and go up the town forest trail to the school, because the only land that will work and will work really good is on the ball field at the school. We haven't met with a school board. They've agreed to send the MOU to allow us to do that. So that's just in the beginning. We tried to look at 2 spots in the village, nothing perked or would work. We had hoped to be able to do some soil borings on the Grimes property and the Menard property, but neither one would allow us on to do that. So this was the next option.
I know on Route 15, some very questionable septic systems. I mean, there's no fix, I don't think that.
Well, now with the water, the water, they all have their own water system, springs or drilled wells. The septic system has to be 100 feet from it. You could never build, and you could never design a replacement to put in there.
Yeah, it's the same here, these houses. These Redland River
Yeah, there's no possibility of upgrading much of these standards from
No. I'm assuming eventually we're gonna wanna have some type of small water system probably too. Do you want to train real development, because anything you want's gonna have to have that with it too. That's gonna be the other, if you get the wastewater, you're gonna need a good quality well of some sort. That is the permitting to do it.
Well, anyway, I mean, there'll never be anything in the village. No one will be able to, upgrade or anything.
we're having.
I think it's housing that we have in the village.
With the wastewater system would ameliorate some of the stress on these overloaded systems, I would think.
yeah, definitely.
Well, we started out as looking for wastewater solutions in the village, and we're still working on those solutions.
There's been a lot of engineering research done.
I think it's 3 years at least with this committee's been working to get just. But we are doing it in partnership with the state of Vermont, and they are the ones that got the original grant, and we are a pilot with them. We are in the town of Burke. They received that Northern Borders grant and picked these 2 towns as a pilot to try to work on finding a solution. Right, any other questions? Yeah. The assessor MOU and cost estimates. We gave you the latest copy. There was the planning commission is the one who is going to be the service provider, and the regional planning commission, some of the members made some changes to the agreement. So I gave you the latest copy on your desk. Hyde Park is already signed off on it. And I gave you the cost estimates too. It's this letter, from Tasha, who put it together. The executive director of the planning commission of what she thinks the cost will be. Employee will be paid $35 an hour, and then she includes, they would cover the health insurance, the FICA, the workman's comp, the liability, administrative costs for payroll and supervising, employee accrued sick time because they fall under their personnel policy, so it's about $55 to $60 an hour. And last week we committed to 4 hours.
Do you think 4 will be enough?
At this point, yes. This, in my mind, is being proactive, not reactive. I don't think that we really have the need today. But we could have the need in the near future, and you know, I think we're being proactive in looking at it. So I think 4 hours is the minimum that I would want to do.
And so, you said Hyde Park is signed off on this.
Mhm.
Yes, is it we, these numbers?
Well, the numbers haven't really changed from what they've talked about for the last couple of
Yeah,
weeks.
I mean, it doesn't look like it.
No.
And what other towns are interested?
At this point, it's Johnson and Hyde Park are just that they don't have assessors at all. They don't even have contracts with anyone. So we've reached out to everyone in the county. Eden's thinking about it. And Elmore is going to try to find someone, but they might come back to.
They will.
It seems like it's kind of a wait and see how it works out type of thing.
We would all benefit if 2 more towns would join. You know, it would be helpful.
And what about Morrisville? They have their own person or?
Yeah, Morrisville and Stowe, of course, has their own assessor. Jim. You still there? They hired their own assessor years ago. I don't know about Cambridge.
Yeah. Belvedere?
They don't have much change. I don't know.
Yeah.
Eden's the most likely. And I think Elmore too. I don't know if they've had any success in their search, but it'd be pretty tough.
I don't think they're gonna have much luck.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Didn't most of their listers retire?
June did.
And that's why Johnson and Hyde Park are, you know, nothing.
Yeah.
So,
That's gonna start hurting them on there.
they're grandless.
You're a big boss out there.
UPS, I guess.
Huh?
UPS, I guess.
They're pretty lame, man.
We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Doesn't sound like we can avoid this. Really. It's the hard, cruel fact of it. The skilled people aren't available.
I mean, I think it's a good strategy. Go forward. Um, If we were to try to go out and hire an assessor exclusive, it would be astronomical.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the only one really there is Nemrick, and Hyde Park had Nemrick. But they are so busy doing Mooresville's reassessment that they haven't showed up in months.
Yeah.
And they just said, we don't have the personnel to, you know, so they didn't renew their contract with them
Right.
at the end of June.
They weren't even able to provide the services they were contracted for.
That's right. Yeah.
That's a great deal if you can get it. It doesn't. No compensation to the town. Really to provide services on a contract.
I don't know. I don't know
The contract was written.
Yeah.
Carefully.
It was written in their favor, yeah.
But I think that this is a good strategy. I think it's, as Linda said, it's definitely forward looking.
Yeah.
This is not, in my mind, this is not something we can put under the rug.
Oh, no.
It's gonna rear its okay.
That rug's getting pretty lumpy and OSHA will step in and condemn the rugs.
So, this agreement, how they have it now, wouldn't start till December 1st. So that would mean then they would organize, they would have to, advertise for the position, and they would have to interview people, and 3 towns would have to interview with them. So someone probably would not even be coming on board until maybe May. May or so.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's,
Time for moving.
that's the other challenge of this is that this is just agreeing to the management aspect. But the actual hiring hasn't happened. So when they go out and hire, it's gonna be up against the same rule. But like LCPC, it may have some more, I guess, influence in 3 towns. They may have better connections. I don't know.
That'd be helpful. Yeah, they've been pretty good.
And what I'm trying to get at is probably that this added cost is not in our budget, but could be worked into the new budget, because it's gonna take a while for
Right.
and actually someone sitting in a seat. So I guess they're waiting for a commitment. Is that something where we need to do at this point? Or questions?
They're waiting for commitment from us. Well,
Yeah,
you need a motion. I'm ready for that one.
mhm.
I'll make a motion that we commit to this joint venture.
We have a second.
I'll second.
Do you have any more discussion on this or questions? If not, all those in favor, say aye.
All right.
Opposed? So carried. Well, I will get a clean copy from them, because this is draft. Thank you. Municipal plan grant follow-up. The only thing I have is this resolution that we signed tonight, I guess, Sal's working on it. to submit it by December 1st. He has it on the timeline to talk to the donors with. Municipal planning grant for studying the feasibility of having a cafe and looking at parking concerns for the school.
Okay. This is why we had the site visit on this.
Well, you'll have a site visit on, I think, the 18th with any app. No, that's for the RFP for that engineer. This one is, find it
I
here.
was thinking when they were here and we were.
Oh. No, you told them we weren't interested in the rail trail people.
Right.
We turned down their grant.
Right, okay.
But we talked afterwards about applying for a municipal planning grant.
Which be the striping.
No, we had decided. No, we turned that one down.
Not too.
If you bear with me for a minute here. So, so this is the Schoolhouse Revitalization Committee. Has posted an RFP for feasibility study and architectural design services with the purposes of determining the feasibility of using the schoolhouse as an economic driver and a meeting place, and also parking. Because we're starting to run into parking problems in this area, this whole complex. I'll look at the feasibility of that.
At my house.
So the municipal planning grant, if the application is accepted, we use to develop a site plan and feasibility, parking, cafe, utilities, seating, drainage, stormwater is what he put in there.
Sure.
What about where the pole barn is, the bus barn?
Well, we talked with the people from the state that was doing the Lamoille Valley Rail Trail grant. And they mentioned that we could rent their land, lease it for free
Oh,
on that other side of the trailhead.
for this particular,
As long as it's used for trailhead parking. Having to do with the rail trail. Just
so
kind of,
only people.
just kind of move parking around a little bit. Well, you know, this grant is supposed to figure that out, not us.
Okay.
So do we need to do anything with this?
No. It's due December 1st and Sal working on that. Scanning project discussion.
So, after I talked to the town clerk, they got some information. We, surveys were under the jurisdiction of the town clerk. And so it would have to be determined that it would be happy to put in a profile. So profile, we had reached out to before, he came back again to talk to me. I asked him a few questions, There is a possibility, the quote that they gave us was 6,000. And that would do up to about 400 maps, the surveys.
How many do we have?
We have at least one. I think we have 396. We could have a few more. But, they come in daily, so, I could give you a figure one day and then the next week it could change.
So this would be equivalent to the scanning, the indexing,
Yeah,
and
so.
it would be tied to the land records.
Yeah, it would be in co-file and the town would make money off it. I don't get those fees. The town would, and it would be $1 a month, pretty much, for each copy. They can look at it for free, but if they want to print it, it's going to cost them $1.
Okay, so ongoing, as you mentioned, they come in all the time, right? So how's it facilitated going forward? You do the 400 or whatever it is, and then how do you go forward?
One of the things that I talked to them about is how we would be able to update them yearly. And he said, as you know, we have a restoration fee fund, and a lot of towns use that to do their scanning for each year. So it wouldn't be, this is just the first initial 400. After that, it would be, it's like to scan each map with $10. Indexing of them is $275, and then the link. So it's going to cost us $13.75 each time we do a map. So say we had 10 of them, it'd be $135.
And you'd only do, you would be done in batches
I would do them once a year.
once a year.
Now, Eden and Hyde Park, I don't know how they do them. Sometimes they send a picture of them and they're able to upload them. So this is what I found out from Matt Reed today. There's an app, you can take a picture of the map. You can turn it into a PDF and send it to them and they can scan it.
Yeah, we've done it.
Yeah.
We've done
Yeah. So that is one way we could.
it. But they would still charge this same amount.
I'm assuming so, yes. But if I scan it, they have to just scan it into the system. So it's still, I can send it as a PDF, but it's got to be scanned onto the actual platform. So one of the things I did look at is for the last 2 years, we said that, Town Fusion and stuff costs us about $7,000 to do. And we pay out about $7,000 a year. So I looked at all the restoration fees I have for the last 2 years, and I have $1,926 that was not used for Town Fusion that should be used for restoration of records in some way that we could use towards it and not use all ARPA funds if that was the case. That the select board decided.
It's an ongoing expense, which is.
Right. So if my restoration fees are there and I go over the $7,000 each year, which I have for the past 2 years, then there's money there to do this. It's the first initial start. So I would love to buy a scanner and everything. I just don't know how to this. I don't know if there's enough time for us to do all this. You know what I mean? We're still going to need the professionals to upload it and do all that. So.
Yeah, I know there was a thought at one point with CAI, they have all the linking capability there that makes it super simple to do this.
Right,
But because these records are tied to the land records, we can't. It's in the wrong system.
Yeah.
It's a shame because you can just see it's free to do, but we're forced to do it very expensive way. Yeah.
because it generates income for the town. And the other part is, Nemrick, I went on to Marshfield's website because she was showing the ability that Nemrick each year just goes into her website and just uploads the property taxes each bill and just uploads the grand list. And it's clearly there. And they don't charge for it or anything. Now, with the tax bills, you have to scroll through alphabetically to find the one you want, which takes time. But the grand list, is the grand list the same, Deb? Because I know you, I told you to look at Marshfield, but I don't know if you did or not.
Well, I did, yeah, I noticed the tax bills are alphabetical, which is unfortunate if you're looking for Wilson. I also noticed that their tax maps have not been updated since 2017.
Yes.
So frankly, I wasn't really impressed and I didn't go any further.
Okay.
Now, the other thing that Profile is quoting us on is the remainder of the books.
There are 6 books that we're looking at right now that I don't know. Somebody told me that the state might do another round of indexing. The state is talking about that. So everybody would be up to date and have their records online, because one of the things that's coming forward is through the Secretary of State's office is this e-document. And it basically means that we're going to have to accept documents by electronically. It will go to a site on the state will have, and we will be able to download our papers, but there will never be a paper copy unless we make it.
Right, but I'm talking about the historical ones. And
Yes.
we're going back to 84 now.
We are back to 1980, and then we would go back 6 more books.
You didn't find them in Middlesex. I swear that Nellie did all of them and then I started from there.
They can't find it.
And we're waiting on a quote on this, right?
Yeah, we haven't got anything on it yet.
So Middlesex cannot find these books.
No, we have the books.
Yeah.
It's Microsoft. They think it might have been misfiled. They're still looking. If I find them,
Back in the day when I was a clerk and Nellie was a clerk, you would drive to Middlesex with 5 or 6 of your books and the state would microfilm them as a backup in case you had a fire.
Yeah. Now you
And I
can get
swear, Nellie had done them all, and then I started from where she left off.
yeah, I have all 1986 on.
So they must be in Middlesex, because that's when I started.
public records. Used to have a better reputation there.
Well, here's the thing is they move things around and they have categorized things differently because they're, trying to improve and stuff. And they just need somebody to go and try to find this,
It's a nightmare. You've ever been in there? It's
Never been in there.
oh,
I had to,
Oh, the ceiling.
oh, yeah.
I had to be decent for 15 years, even there, my father. Scary.
It's just not where they thought it would be, but they're gonna still look. It's just a matter of time.
Now, where do Lister cards go?
No,
What system?
well, that would be,
We go to CAI.
Yeah,
Okay, Lister cards that go to CAI, and then zoning, not billing. And how did we get the lister cards electronically?
Never would upload them.
Number would.
Okay.
Okay. So there's really no need for a scanner. Given these scenarios. Am I right? I'm not sure if I'm
I
right.
mean,
I think you're right. I mean, there's no sense in a scanner too that's not going, you can't even print any paper off it either. I mean, if you had a scanner and someone came in and wanted to make a copy of a map or something, a large map.
that's what Morrisville does, and they charge $5 a map.
But it sounds like we couldn't even do that with scanner.
Well, we could. Yeah, yeah, actually, there are very few of them, if any, are dedicated scanners, but they're big 36-inch
Mhm.
things, and they will print. Yeah. So somebody could do a copy of that, right?
Now, Matt was telling me there's a used one out there that somebody approached him about, but I didn't get any particulars.
But the one Morrisville has is pretty high end. So between $4,000 and $5,000, you can get.
I think, yeah, theirs, they spend like 12. But they get a lot and they use that from their restoration fees and they get a ton on reporting. Every page that comes in, it's $4 goes into this.
Their
restoration.
outreach does a lot of posters and stuff like Trish for their Oxbow and everything that they have. So they do a lot of printing off them.
There's certainly, I guess there's no urgent need for a scanner. I mean, I don't know how many people come in and want us to do a copy of the survey map.
So what I tell them now to do is to take a picture. Put it on the floor, that's what the guy did today, put it on the floor and took a picture. And I charge him $1. And then he can, like Matt did, he can change it to.
Yeah, I mean, any phone apps do it. Or it's-
So the only, I guess, what I need to know is what I should tell Profile. Should we go ahead and do the surveys, or are we still thinking about it?
That's a 6,000, wasn't.
Yes, but 1925 is gotta be. So it would be a little bit over $4,000.
Six. Would be 4,000.
1925,
How much do you want?
6,025.
The 2,000.
Okay. 2,000.
She's gonna pay 2,000 out of restoration.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. But it seems to me that, I mean, this is a project that we planned on for a long time. It's something that our money is there for. And now that we understand that we can't use the precincts. And, yeah. I think we should go.
Another bigger bill.
Another bidder. Especially when you know it's free.
But in your agreement, would be that you would pay for any additional moving forward.
Yes.
The restoration fees once we
Yes.
initiate it, so it wouldn't be an ongoing.
It's a very
expense.
most is 10 a year. I mean. That's about it. I mean, look how long it took us to fill up the 200 slides.
Mhm.
And they used to be smaller, now they're really big.
So was that a motion, Kurt, or?
Yeah, is there any other discussion in terms of listers?
So, other than the 2,000, it's gonna be ARPA funds.
4,000.
The 4,000 is part.
Correct.
Right, and any ongoing costs would be to the restorations.
So yes,
Well, I don't know any better. I'll second that motion.
Favor,
Aye.
opposed? So carried. Richard.
Let me apologize for my unexpected death of brain cells. And I'm trying to think of the committee,
of the ordinance,
cars and stuff,
yeah, ordinance.
and it's still,
Does it still exist?
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, no, we're.
well, I probably, I didn't want to dread the increase to the wrong.
No, it's, so that we kind of merged with the litter committee. But we definitely we're dealing with big trash problems. Most of them, we've been unsuccessful with their limited power. And so we have been back active with the state, both with the junkyard division and health officer. And what they tend to do is they do go out and visit the locations we suggest. Takes a while, they do.
Yeah.
And then they make a case. And they ask the town to hands off. It's in our court now. And I suspect this is where the big dumpster came from.
Yeah. It's the house. I took a picture driving by, actually was driving. I had to.
Oh, is this the town's home? The one next to the store?
That's the kind of nickname.
It's just, it's sarcasm. Trust me, trust me.
Is this the one with the mobile home?
No, that's pretty
Yeah.
bad.
Okay,
Anyway, yes, we are.
there are two adjacent properties. And I know that law enforcement with their tough book can scan, look at the license plate and see if it's expired.
Mhm.
And the first one is Tallman's right to the left. It used to be the Norfolk store. Then the next one over, elderly couple. And one of their cars is sunk right into the doors. The yard has been there for.
All right.
And there's a second one, and I think they're working on a third.
Mhm.
Yeah. You know, what do we allow? One? Two? Sorry. So that was my two properties.
It's his lawn display.
Huh?
It's his lawn display.
It's art. It's like art, folk art, folk art.
They call me hardly.
Yes, one other concern. One other concern I have is that I was up at the transfer station. I'm not trying to bust Sylvia's chops here. And I saw a guy climb into the and pull out the real heavy copper. No wire, I mean, the real heavy stuff. Now, with my temperament, I would add to those signs, if you go past this sign, it's a one-way trip. Well, I believe that that is not considered civilized, damn it. But
You must have a lot. I never see anybody in those dumpsters.
They'll go into the metal house.
yeah, well, it's not a matter of,
Yeah, I see people in the metal dumpster.
it's,
Every week.
it's a liability concern. Because I don't care how much of a bottom feeder the individual is that falls in there and gets hurt. He can't spell litigate, but he knows how. And it's going to cost the town, some idiot is gonna, it's a safety net.
One of the things that Nathan is doing is he's gonna, the signs are kind of going on this up there. So he's going to straighten all that out and put two chains. So right now we kind of have just a loosey-goosey chain this will be 2 chains that will.
Oh, no, we charge for electric fence.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
But I think we should also have signs there on the post.
Well, also the sign would probably need some politically incorrect language to get their attention, which we can't do.
But we can tell them they need a tetanus shot if they go in
Okay.
Enter at your own risk.
How about?
Oh, no, they're gonna go for it anyway, and then they're gonna show it to you think.
You can't, you say at your own risk.
Tom, do you have your hand up?
That's just my mouse.
It's
How about a sign that says taking metal from his dumpster is stealing?
It is.
It is.
Put it right on the sign, another thing.
Prosecuted.
You will be charged per pound for what you take.
We need to put something up there that says you're under camera surveillance.
It's already there.
This property belongs to the town of Wolcott.
Anything past this chain belongs to the town. Something like that.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't mean to put too much of a jocular mood on the tail end of the meeting here. My ability for sarcasm is
I'll definitely go take a look at.
What concerns me is the car across the street. It's right on the riverbank. Yeah,
One good flood mentioned that again.
we were running the home. It's across the street. There's a little parking area right there.
oh, yes, that's Tom's.
Yeah, isn't,
I think that vehicle, I think, has been repaired so many times that I don't think God could lay hands on it and fix it, but that's my opinion. And then he's got a couple of other severely confused shit boxes, pardon me, their vehicle is on the other side of the road.
go on.
And then the 2 bailers or cheddars or whatever they were.
Is there collectors of heavy dirt moving equipment, no excavators, bulldozers?
Okay,
Okay, we ready to adjourn? You have something else?
No, I just, you have in your file appropriations, so I just want to make sure you have my appropriation.
Sorry. Okay, all right,
you're ready for my magic motion.
yes.
I now make a motion that we. No, you're not ready? That we adjourn the select board meeting before I do anything else off color.
Yeah. We have a second to adjourn,
I.
so carried.